We live. I think we are live. I will just triple confirm that we're going to the page before we introduce today's episode, but I'm pretty sure that we are now live and on the Jim Byrne Diamond Realty page, just to make 1,000% sure, because I tell you, your people need to know this, but I just want to make triple sure, because I push record on this so we make sure that your people get this info. And frankly, some of my people I'm going to be sharing this with some of my people up here in Queensland, because it's just that important. So I will just triple confirm over on my other screen over there that we are live on the page, and we are. Good. All right. So folks, apologies for the really emergency meeting that I have really called. A, it's to serve you guys down there in Victoria, but B, it's almost to serve a warning to my friends and investor colleagues all over Australia, because I sort of work in the real estate industry all over the country. And I've called in one of my friends and I've gone live on a few pages that I have really to draw attention to something that scared the hell out of me. So I was just on one of my consults where I get together in mastermind groups with people all over the country to pick their brains on what's going on at a local level. So I'm kept informed as a person who's interested in real estate, as a property investor. And when I was talking to one of my people I go to for advice, and I'm talking about the people that are on camera there, I don't know where they are on your screen, but I'm talking about the Byrne crew there, I find out some information that literally scared me to death as a property investor. So, Jim, I wanted to sort of get yours and Nick's and Chantel's opinion on what this means to us as property investors. But literally, you said it all in the headline that I saw there. Can a squatter take over my my property forever? So for those of you guys, by the way, who don't know, you're talking with the Jim Byrne property team. So we're talking about Nick, Chantel, Nicole, Chantel, and Jim here. They are literally a combined 50 plus years experience in property management. Don't let the youthful look of the girls kind of fool you. Both of these women have more than a decade's individual experience, and collectively as a brains trust, that's why I go to them, 50 plus years experience, where each of them has at least 10 years experience in looking after people like me and people like you with our property investments. So, all right, you've scared me to death, Jim, with that bloody legislative update. What the hell is going on? And let's start with you, Jim, before we get into the nitty gritty of what that means on a day-to-day basis for us. But give us a snapshot, Jim. What the hell's going on?
Well, Glenn, there's been recent changes to the Victorian Residential Tenancies Act. So far, 138 changes. Some of them are minor, some of them are major. But the media, as media does, has sort of latched onto one or two of those and made a big deal out of them. Probably one in particular that gets mentioned a lot is the removal of the 120-day notice to vacate for no reason.
So Jim, a lot of the time though, because I agree that that's been thrown out there in the media, and a lot of the time when the media throw out words like updates to the Residential Tenancies Act, legislative reform, a lot of our eyes roll in the back of our head. I mean, literally, mate, this removal of this 120-day thing, does it literally mean that there are certain circumstances, like what would be the circumstances where a tenant can literally stay in my house and I got nothing I can do about it?
Well, Chantel's probably the best one to explain that.
Chantel, hit me.
So basically, if you've got a tenant on a periodic lease, so they're just month to month, day by day, depending on the state, will depend on the terms you're using, you cannot issue a notice to vacate. So if they are not on a fixed term tenancy, you can't issue a notice to vacate unless they fail to pay their rent or they breach the agreement in another way.
Wow. So Nicole, because I know that people in your services there are safe, right? But I love what you guys do. That's why I come to you guys for advice. But Nicole, see, that scares the hell out of me, right? What do I have to do to protect myself from, does that literally mean that if they don't breach, is my only recourse to bloody, I don't know, can I even sell? You know what I mean? Like, Nicole, what can I do to protect myself? What do you do to protect your people from that happening?
Well, I suppose with the new reforms coming in, the only thing I can say is you need a property manager that's going to work for you in your best interest.
Yeah.
the way that the Act came about is they felt that it didn't adequately protect tenants. But then I suppose you've got to look on the other hand, a landlord's being protected as well. Do they know their rights? Do they know that their property manager or the company looking after their investment is looking after their best interests as well?
Yeah. So Jim, am I safe under a fixed term thing? Like if someone's got a 6-month lease, can I even say I'm, being looked after, I don't have any investments in your area. And frankly, I think I want to sell a few of my investments and buy some in your area just so I can have you guys looking after it. But tell me, what about people? Am I safe under a fixed term in, tenancy? Say I've got a 6-month lease. Can I have it? What if I want to move back in, Jim?
Well, if you can move back in, that's still a notice that you can issue. So if it's the landlord's own premises and he wants to move back in legitimately, you can still give notice to move in on that basis.
Oh, okay. So I can't give. So Chantel, I know, look, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Look, I'm an investor. You know what? Frankly, I don't care about, and I'm sure many of your investors won't care about, Jim used the word legitimately. Is that a loophole that an investor could use? Could I give notice to move back in, move in for a week and then put a tenant back in if I've got a tenant that is technically, paying the rent, but there's just some reason that I wanted to give notice to that tenant, but now that option has been removed from me? Is that a loophole for us investors, Chantel?
Because the property needs to remain off the market for 6 months. So if you're in a position where you can keep it off the market for 6 months, yes, you can issue a notice to vacate, but you can't lease it out to someone else. Got it. So, Nicole, you were mentioning off camera that you can still give a notice on, and so we're talking about very specifically a periodic tenancy where it's a month-to-month kind of thing. We call it up here in Queensland. You mentioned there was a 6-month notice. Is that what Chantel's referring to there, Nicole? So on a fixed term lease. So that's not, so we're talking periodic. So on a fixed term lease, 6 months before the contract's up, then the landlord has the option to go, okay, well in 6 months.
I'll need it back in 6 months. Bloody hell. So on a periodic, that 6-month thing's gone. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So a word of warning, I would just say for Victorian property investors, that if that's the rule that's going to stay and you don't have a asset protection team like this lot that are going to be on a day-to-day basis looking out for your best interest, I would just say not let the buyer beware. I would say let the landlord beware. Rightly so. You guys say this is critical information, warning level 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. If property investors don't know this down there, Jim, bloody hell, heaven help them. Heaven help them. Guys, thanks for your time today. Sorry, anything you'd add?
Yeah, I think that's just it. You just got to be aware of what is happening, so it's a lot of landlords just hear it in the media and ignore it, but there's some things in this legislation that people need to be aware of, both landlords and tenants. Yeah.
Guys, what I would say is if you're on this live on any of the various streams that I've streamed this out on and you've got any questions, just pop them down below. Because that scares the hell out of me. And I tell you, this may be Victorian legislative change, although I don't even know. Is the Residential Tenancies Act nationwide? I don't even know.
It's
just Victoria.
Just Victoria.
Okay. But then, if there too goes the rest of the states, who knows? But that's scary as hell if you're not looked after by a team who's on the ball. So, all right. Thanks for your time today, guys. I trust if that's one of the 138 things, I trust you guys will be keeping your crew up to date with the other 138 as time goes on. But thanks for jumping on today, guys. I really appreciate it. Bloody hell. Scary as hell, huh?
Thanks.
See you later.
See ya.
Thanks for being, guys. Bye for now.